KIDDUSHAS LEVI. Shoftim is Shoftim Titein Lecha B'chol Sha'arecha. The Torah tells us that we have to place policemen and judges in all of the Sha'arecha and all of the doorposts, doorways, the passageways. V'shaftu esa'am mishpat tzedek. And they should judge the nation righteously, which means correctly, which means you get the punishment that you deserve, not more and not less. Says the KIDDUSHAS LEVI, Reb Levi Yitzchak Mibarditchev, the Seneger of Klal Yisrael, right? Dihine, HaKadosh Baruch Hu Shofet es HaKnesses Yisrael b'vayom hamishpat b'goydel rachamav v'chasadav. It's true that we all know that Hashem sits in judgment of the people of Israel. That's us, I'm reading the English. On New Year's Day, it's a nice way to look at it, Rosh Hashanah, at which time he exercises his love as well as his mercy, and there is still a need for justice being meted out down here on earth by human, meeting mortal judges. But you need to have down here, isarusa de l'lasata, an awakening down here, to awaken the midah of Rachmanis Lamala. That's the way the world works. If you don't know how the world works, then you don't know the way the world works. The KIDDUSHAS LEVI is telling us that there's ways, just like in every system. Just like if you go to the courts, if people hire a lawyer to get out of a ticket. I got a ticket going 95 miles an hour in the left lane of a highway. And I hired the right guy who knew how the system works, and the guy got it changed to a parking ticket. How I was parked at 95 miles an hour, nobody can know. And how can you be parked in the left lane? Everybody's going around. Okay, it costs some money. And he knows how it works. So every system has a lot of different checks and balances. And there's something called RACHAMIM, that we could be Zeicha to RACHAMIM. It's extra. Hashem does tzedakah also, and Hashem has RACHAMIM. Like the Zohar HaKadosh says, the 5 words, get out of jail card. Netzach, Rechimui, Debanui, L'Rechimui, Dedina. The love that Hashem has for His children conquers, Netzach, it conquers the love that Hashem has for Din, for justice. Yes, it says, Ani Hashem Oyev Mishpat. Hashem loves Mishpat. You do the time, you do the crime. And in fact, Hashem created the world with Midas Hadin. But then He saw that this is not going to work. And He had to start adding in more Rachamim, and He gave us Rachamim. He told Moshe Rabbeinu, when things go really bad, say this. Say Yud Gimel Midas HaRachamim. He told us how to do that. He told us how to do tshuva. He gave us all kinds of ways around it. He told us that when you judge other people favorably, I'll judge you favorably. There's a lot more than just you do the time, you do the crime. Doesn't mean we should be doing Averis, because if you do it in advance, these things don't work. But after you've done them, Ruchshtus, it's already happened. There's a lot of ways of dealing with it. You could be tzedakah tatzam limaves. What does tzedakah have to do with maves? There's ways around it. You gotta have an in. So we have an in with the KIDDUSHAS LEVI. And he says that yes, there's HaKadosh Baruch Hu is going to judge Knesset Yisrael in Rosh Hashanah, and Chasima is Yom Kippur, or Chasima is, the more Chassidish you are, the later on it is. Right? It says Chanukah, and then it says Purim. I already saw Shavuos. If we could just push it off till the next Rosh Hashanah, it'll never happen. But in order to have this extra mishpat of Rachmim and Chasadim from Hashem judging us, we need to awaken down here Rachmanis Lamala. How do you do that? Al Yidei Ma Nisoyer Oisei Hamidah Shel Chesed. What does this? What awakens the midah of Chesed Lamala? So he tells you, Kisha'anu lemata, when us down here, misnahig im bechesed, we treat other people, we act with chesed. Chesed is extra, not what people deserve, extra. Okay? Ulameidim schus, al kol ish mi Yisrael l'doinoi l'kav schus, and we are melamed schus on kol ish Yisrael. Doesn't say only the righteous, and only the tzaddikim, and only the Kol Ish Yisrael, every single Jewish person, any person that is born a Jew, We are Malamed Schus, L'doinoi L'kav Schus, V'oz al yedei zeh, look what happens. Gam Lamala, up above, Nisoyer gets awakened, Oisai Hamida. That midah of extra chesed, of being Malamed L'kav Schus. What does Lodun L'kav Schus mean? It means that I know that the person is wrong. But maybe he had a bad day. Maybe he had a bad childhood. It's not his fault. It's a lot of gullus. He didn't mean to do it. Right? That's L'meidin L'kav Schus. You see that the car smashed into the other car. You can't fight the reality. It doesn't mean that we're not in reality. Certain tzaddikim were known that they were done everybody L'kav Schus. They were fantasizing. They weren't in reality. They saw the reality. I get it. I see the boy in Nebuch smoking on Shabbos. I get that. L'meidin L'kav Schus. If you know everything that he went through in his whole life and all the bitterness and all the pain, that's what the Sfas Emes says. Habedan eskol ha'adam l'kav schus. What does it mean? This is basic stuff. We keep on repeating it because it's basics to our lives and how we could save our children, how we could save ourselves, and we could save Klal Yisrael. Listen what's going to happen. This is incredible. This is amazing. So it says Habedan eskol ha'adam. Judge es the kol entire ha the person. Doesn't make any sense. Too many eskol ha'adam. Says this Sfas Emes, you shouldn't be judging anybody. But if you're going to judge somebody, you should judge as kol ha'adam the ganze mensch, the whole person. From when he was little, and he was sensitive, and he got thrown out, or he had ADD, or his parents were fighting, whatever it was, and you'll see by the time you go through everything that happened and transpired to that neshamala, you'll see you'll be able to be Malamed Schus, you'll be able to be Dan L'kav Schus. And that's what he's saying. And sometimes it's hard, and sometimes it's challenging. But I think that it goes without say that the more challenging it is, the more that we're Ma'ir this Rachamim by Hashem, where it's more challenging. Right? Because he's saying that we have the key to the tziner, to the pipe above of how Hashem is going to judge Klal Yisrael, right? So the harder it is to do it, and we, Basar V'dam, we can do it, so the more Hashem is going to do that. Kisha'anu lamata misnaigim b'chesed. Instead of walking around, you do this and you do that, and calling out everybody on their averis, which some people unfortunately like to do, and we have to be Malamed Schus on them. They probably had a very tough childhood, and they probably got beat up a lot, and now they're getting back at the world. So be Malamed Schus on the kanoim, be Malamed Schus on the difficult people. They didn't have an easy life probably. Because if you have a beautiful Yiddish life and your parents are nice to you and your grandparents were nice to your parents, and we take away all the Holocaust trauma and drama and we just have real erlich edel parenting, nobody would be screaming at anybody in shul, even though they think that they're doing taiva for Klal Yisrael and they're screaming and you're bad and you're bad. All of that, you know what they say, when you point a finger at someone, you're pointing 3 back at yourself. Okay, it's not good for Klal Yisrael. It's not good for the system of judgment. This is very, very difficult because that's what we want. The trick is not to be Malamed Schus and someone similar to you and a little hiccup. Kol ish Yisrael l'doinoi l'kav schus. People say, who says everybody have to be down l'kav schus? Who says maybe some of them are Rishoim? Well, you're not going to get this. Look what he says. If you can do that, al yidei zegam melamala, so too upstairs in heaven. Nisoyer oisei hamida, it gets awakened this mida, ulameidin gam olav, and Hashem judges that person also l'kav schus. But not enough that you save that person. So first of all, you save that person. You see a guy in Nebuch doing whatever avera, and you Malamed Schus on him. You save the person from judgment because Hashem is going to say, that little regular person. You're not the Moshe Feinstein, you're not the Lubavitcher Rebbe, you're not the Chves, whoever. You're regular, just a regular person. And you see him and he's doing something wrong and you say, whatever you need to think, that Malamed Schus on him. Hashem says, the din on that person changed. You're a superhero. You're changing the way Hashem judges people. But that's not enough. Sign up now and look what we'll throw in. V'gam al kol zera Yisrael chasadim. Not only you help that person, you help kol zera Yisrael, every single living Jew, with chasadim. V'im kain And therefore, ha'adam ma'oyer ba'uvda shalamata, you are awakening by doing something down here. And again, you don't need to be a tzaddik for this. Every single person can do this. You awaken hashar ha'elyoin, the shar, the door above, liftayach share chesed, to open up the doors of chesed, laharik bracha, to extend the bracha al kol zera Yisrael. So it's fascinating because nobody even sees you do this. And it could be just b'machshava. You know, you go outside and you see your girl not walking tznius, not dressing tznius, right? And you think to yourself, she probably didn't do well in school, and she probably had a face of learning disability, or maybe she has a big problem, maybe she doesn't have peace at home, and you malamed zchus on her. Nobody saw you. In Shemayim, God is malamed zchus on her, starts being malamed zchus on everybody in Klal Yisrael. It's unbelievable. V'zeh shekasav, and that's what the pasuk is saying. He puts it into the pasuk. Shoftim v'shoitrim, these judges and these policemen, titein lecha, are given over to you. Each person, b'chol sha'arecha, in all of your sha'arim, ratzaloymer, she'ata ba'atzmecha tisaken v'sochin hamishpat shalmala al yidei sha'arecha. You yourself are going to set up this Rosh Hashanah how every Jew, Kol Zera Yisrael, is going to be judged through your sha'arecha. Vahu hasha'arim shalcha, your passageways, there's probably a better word than that. Your channel, your sha'arim in your brain, in your thought process. Sha'arim shalcha sha'ata oisu ma'oir b'masecha. That you do and that you are ma'oir, you're awakening b'masecha with your actions, which is, we're talking about thought over here. V'zehu v'shaftu as ha'am mishpat tzedek. This is absolutely incredible. Parshas Pshat, we started off saying v'shaftu as ha'am judged the people righteously. He says, no. Tzedek is a lashon of tzedakah. Tzedakah means extra, unearned, undeserved. Ratzaloymar. Kol ish yilmoidis atzmoi. Every person teach yourself. Lihisnaig, to behave. Lishpoitis ha'am mishpat tzedek. Teach yourself this. It's an avodah rabbah. It's very hard. It's very hard. Teach yourself to work, to live your life in a way that no matter what I see, I am judging that person favorably. And I want to tell you something. You could see things and you could find it really hard, but the truth is you should judge favorably because many times it is. I had a boy by me for Shabbos, and in the middle of the meal he had a panic attack. And he's tried to kill himself in the past several times. He said, Avi, I can't stay here. I got to go. He took his car keys, he took his cigarettes, and he went into his car and he drove for 3 hours on Shabbos. And if you would see him, you would want to stone him. He was trying to save his life by calming down so he doesn't try to kill himself. How many people would think to be malamed zchus, we would say, Shegit, Shabbos. He's trying to save himself. I asked him after Shabbos, I said, so how you doing? He said, I calmed down, but I'm driving on Shabbos, I'm smoking cigarettes, I'm trying to keep myself sane. And I'm thinking, he was driving near the psych ward in case he gets to the point that he's going to kill himself, because he tried 7 times to kill himself. So I wanted to be near a psych ward in case, and it's like I just was driving around there. If I have to pull in, I'll pull in. Please help me. But I'm driving on Shabbos and smoking cigarettes. But what am I supposed to listen to in the car? So I said, okay, probably listen to music to calm you down. He said, but it's Shabbos. So he put on Shiurei Torah. He listened to 3 hours of Shiurei Torah. You still want to stone him? Hold your weapons. Hold your fire. Rabbi Aaron Schechter, Shlita, the Shiva of Chaim Berlin, was walking outside Friday night. He saw 4 boys smoking on Shabbos. What did he do? He yelled at them. He said, boys, ich hab euch lieb. I love you. If you ever need anything, don't hesitate to knock on my door. I'm always there for you. The tzaddikim didn't scream, Shaita, Russia, Shiksa, Goita, and look what we lose when we're screaming at people and we're not malamed zchus on them. First of all, I'm telling you so many times, it's not Malamed Schus. So many times the judgment is really with them. A boy on Tuesday showed me he got a tattoo. I asked him, why'd you get a tattoo? He told me, I got it Sunday night. I was suicidal, right? And this is a boy who was capable of killing himself. I mean, he failed many times, but he was capable of trying. And he told me, it really calmed me down. Since Sunday night, I'm not suicidal. Why does it work? Go to therapy. Why does it work? Go learn, figure out why. I'm telling you a fact. So is it an Avera? Is it a mitzvah? So many things that they do that we think are Averis. Even girls walking around without sneakers. Many times it's one of the sick outcomes of sexual abuse is that they cannot wear clothing. You want to understand why? You can go to school. I'm just saying it's not really so hard. It's just we stay on the outside, we look outside the window, and we judge people. Once you really get to know the sugya, you'll see the schus it's not even malamed schus when they're wrong. They're not wrong. So many times they're not even wrong. But even if they're wrong, when you judge them wrong, you put din on them, and you put din on kol zera Yisrael, including your children, your brothers, your sisters, your parents, everybody. We control that big tziner. It's like a huge pipe, and it has that, I guess, I don't know, maybe now it's already automated. We control it. That's what he's saying, the KIDDUSHAS LEVI. Mizeu v'shavto asa mishpat tzedek, judge with tzedek, ratzaloymar. Kol ish Yisrael, every single one of us. Yilmad es atzmoi, teach ourselves. Lihisnaig, lishpoit asa mishpat tzedek. Lilmoid, lilamed staka, v'schus, al kol zera Yisrael. People say Rishoim, they're not included. He's making it very clear. First of all, I have never met the Rasha. I've worked with many people that people would say they're for sure the Rishoim. I could tell you, I'm looking for this Rasha for a long time. I haven't found it. I found a bunch of kids in pain and adults in pain and pain and pain. I always say, I wish I could finally meet the Rasha. And he just loves cheeseburgers. And he's totally healthy. And he's just a Baal Taiva. And I'll give him such a hug because I'm so sick of dealing with broken Jews. But there's no such thing, because if you're not a broken Jew, nobody goes off the derech for a cheeseburger or for any taiva or for any avera. It just never happened. It's such a shame. It looks like it. So people, they don't know, because people don't put a sign on their head of their tsaris and their pain. So we don't know. So we have to be malamed schus. We have to teach ourselves. Kol ish. This is a direct order of the KIDDUSHAS LEVI on behalf of Gans Klal Yisrael. This should be what we all work on a whole year. This is the number one thing to work on. Kol ish. Everybody should teach ourselves to treat and to deal, to judge everybody. Mishpat tzedek l'lamed staka uschus al kol zera Yisrael. Wow. Mishpat tzedek l'lamed staka v'schus al kol zera Yisrael. Wow. Just think about what he's saying. Our kids, and the from ones, and the not from ones, and the annoying ones, and the difficult ones. Everybody. Kol zera Yisrael. V'oz ha'adam ha'oyer hashar shamala, then you awaken that door, that opening in heaven. V'al yidei zeh yoytze bedin zakai b'mishpat shamala, and then guess what? You helped that person. You helped Kol zera Yisrael. But you also helped yourself. You will be zakai in this mishpat on Rosh Hashanah, ki b'midah she'adam moidedim loy, because in the measure, man is measured. The Gemara Megillah, Daf Yud Beis, the man is measured by the yardstick he applies to others. So this is unbelievable, because everybody has sin, and other people have sin, and sin everywhere is a big part of the world. And everybody's scared of Rosh Hashanah, and everybody's scared of Yom Kippur, and he's telling us we have the key. We have the key. That when we are teaching ourselves, that no matter what I see, and some of them are going to be a little easier, and some of them are going to be really challenging, I'm just going to be malamed schus. All of a sudden, that person who you love or you hate, doesn't matter, gets a better judgment from Hashem. It spreads to Kol Zera Yisrael, to the whole Klal Yisrael, and then your judgment also gets affected by this this adding this spice called chesed and rachamim and tzedakah. So that's the pshat. V'shoftim mishpat tzedek means tzedakah. Judge other people with charity. Don't say, no, he said to me the thing, and he told me the thing, and he didn't the thing, and he didn't that, and this is the right thing, and I'm right. Don't be right. Give tzedakah. Give tzedakah in your ayin toiv. Give tzedakah in how you look at people. And all of you, when you see your kids and you see their friends, you know how to look at them differently. And they feel it. But other people don't know until they have kids. They don't who are struggling off the derech until they're fighting. They're throwing. There's a girl now homeless. They're trying to fight because the parents threw her out. There's a girl who has no money, so she's doing terrible things for money because she needs money, and her parents said, "We're not giving you money because you're not from." All this stuff. You parents who are not doing that, you're seeing the goodness in your children. See the goodness in their friends. And if we could see the goodness in the off the derech people, we could start to work to see the goodness in the on the derech people. Sometimes it's also challenging. But who are we saving? We're saving them, Kol Zera Yisrael, and we're saving ourselves because man is measured by the yardstick he applies to others. B'mida she'adam moeded loy. I have never seen any piece of anything that is as compelling as this KIDDUSHAS LEVI. You can look it up inside, the first piece in Parshas Shoftim, okay, and live by it. What else can change your whole life to such a degree? Of course, we want to do more mitzvahs and less averos, and that's a lot of work. But this is something relatively easy to work on, and the effect is enormous. So then I was thinking, that's a problem. I have extra time, so I think. So one little guy is walking down the street, and he sees somebody, and he's malamet zchus. So he changes everything for chesed, right? So what's the problem? So we all have chesed, chesed, chesed. There's certainly one guy doing it. So it must be that the other person walking down the street the other way, who's now looking at it with din, must be lowering the chesed. Because that's what he's saying, that we control it. But there's a lot of we. Every person is so there's a balance going on. There's the actual judgment, and then there's, extra chesed, no, extra din, extra chesed, extra din. There's a whole balancing out. We're up against a whole army of people who might be not doing this and causing din for all of Klal Yisrael, for themselves as well, and they don't know this KIDDUSHAS LEVI, or they don't have an ayin tova, or they think whatever, I don't know, whatever's causing them to do that, I don't know. So it's not pasha. We need to really do this a lot, and we need to spread the word. We need to have more votes than this again than what we're up against. We have to advertise this. We have to let everybody know. We have to say, please, those people who are looking with midas hadin, please stop it. You're hurting that person. You're hurting yourself. You're hurting Kol Zera Yisrael. And the guy who's just even b'machshava, he doesn't realize how much damage he's doing. And he thinks he's doing a good thing. He thinks he's on God's side. I'm looking down at the Balavera. I'm looking down at the sinners. I'm looking, isn't that what I'm supposed to do? And they're going to bring you psukim. Then they're going to bring you, fine. But the bottom line is, you're not doing this. You're not bringing schus and tzedakah. Look at the tzaddikim. That's why I'm putting together this book. Mitzvah Hashem. I hope volume 1 should be ready in a few months. And I'm putting together, every story was there were malamet zchus. Tzaddikim are malamet zchus on other people, no matter what they do. They have a havas Yisrael for everybody. They malamet zchus on everybody. Don't just take away the eyes of judgment and give us eyes of tzedakah, of chesed. It doesn't mean that we're unrealistic. It doesn't mean that we don't know. I also see the guy driving on Shabbos. I also see the kids smoking on Shabbos. We also see all the averos. But we're struggling. Everybody's struggling. Adults are struggling. Everybody's struggling. We got thrown out of home 2,000 years ago. God turned the lights off because of our averos, okay? But we're struggling and goes a long time, and it gets worse and worse. And look at the tzaddikim. On to Reb Gershon Edelstein Shlita Zayin Gesund, Rosh Hashiva of Panovich, connection to the Chazon Ish, almost 100 years old. And I said, how does Rosh Hashiva look at all these Mechalei Shabbos and people go off the derech? Anusim. That's how. Forget about if people say he's right, he's wrong. I don't know how anybody can comment and argue on him. But doesn't he have a more beautiful life than the angry people? People are angry, fighting. He has a beautiful life. You know, it's like saying, going to a rich person and say, what do you think about all the people who don't have any parnasa? He'll say, I feel so bad for them. We feel bad for people who are not as lucky as us. Not angry at them. We're lucky, we're fortunate, we have a better life, better circumstances. Really, we can't take credit for ourselves. Moshe Rabbeinu didn't take credit for himself. Anav Mikol Adam. He talked to Hashem, the highest level, but he was an Anav Mikol Adam, and he fought for Klal Yisrael, and he fought for the sinners of Klal Yisrael, and he defended when Hashem wanted to wipe out Klal Yisrael. That's what leaders do. That's what Gedolim do. Ketanim, angry, and you can't do, and Shiksa and Goita and all these name callings, and it's like, besides for hurting the kid or the adult that you're doing it to, they're hurting everybody. They're hurting all of us. They're hurting themselves. So we have to outdo and outnumber all of those people, and we have to tell them, please, be this way, be this way. It's not naive. It's the derech of the Torah. And with this, we'll be Zachim Etz Hashem to Ksivach Simatayv and a good gebenched yar. You parents are using Ayin Tov. You parents are loving and showering those who don't deserve it. You're the most TP parents are the most being Malamet Zchus and using B'Shaftu Mishpat Tzedek. You're giving tzedakah. The kids don't even, when you go shopping with them and you get back, they don't even help you unpack the car of their stuff. And they leave you, Mami and Tati, schlepping all the boxes of stuff that you bought for them. Temporarily, Mitzvah Shem Del have a refuah shalema. You're going out of your way. You're living V'Shaftu Asam Mishpat Tzedek. And because of you, Karachim of Abanim came to Racham Hashem Aleinu. The way that you, I always say, the way that you TP parents are merachim on your children, you give them undeserved, they bash up the car and you give them another car and another chance. Besides that you're helping them, and besides that we have the highest success rate, and besides that you're saving their lives, but you're living a Torah-dika blick, a Torah-dika way of life. It's calm. That's why you have calm in your house, usually. Now you do. He left. He's in yeshiva. Okay. Right? But most of us have calm and peace and calm and peace and calm. And people say, oh, you're just giving and giving and giving. Yes. B'Shaftu Asam Mishpat Tzedek. We're giving a lot of tzedakah. And you're creating, you're the best thing for Klal Yisrael. I don't know, maybe you, parents, are saving the whole Klal Yisrael. Because you're the most giving. Maybe you're saving the whole Klal Yisrael. You're the most Malamet Zchus. And every time that you're like, the financial crisis that it costs you, and the pressure and the pain, and you say, oh, but I love my son. The way you talk about your son, but I love him. He's a shefela. Anybody else would have killed this kid. Ben Sairah, you'd call him, you shoot him, get the firing squad. And she's like, he's so good. What do you mean? He just cursed you out, used all your money and your finances and your savings, and he can't work, and he's oh yeah, I love him. Everybody should be like these mommies and daddies. And Hashem, we ask you, please be a TP parent. Right? Kirachim of like you, Abanim Kain, of means parents. Kain Terachim Hashem Aleinu on Gans Klal Yisrael.